What's going on with the housing market in Washington, North Carolina?
I know, right? That's so interesting, but we'll get to all of that and more after our introduction. So let's hit it. Hi, it's Ali Tor. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, call text all the time at 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Do not be shy. Also, don't forget to pick up our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below. We have lots of information in there for you if you're looking to buy or sell in our area. Now, with all of that, let's talk about the city of Washington.
Exactly. And if you wanted to live near the water, is one of Little Washington could be one of the choices that you want. And of course, you wanted to know what's going on if you're out of a state. And if you are inside of the town and you wanted to purchase home or sell your home. That's why here we wanted to start with the inventory that we have in the market. No?
Right. So in the city of Washington, North Carolina, there are 63 active homes in the MLS that just happened with 40 pending, which brings us to 103. What about the month before that?
And the months before that, in month of July, that we have data, 51 was active in the market, 32 was under the contract, and 21 actually sold.
Oh, you got to the sold data. You sneaking
Yes.
in there. What about last year?
And the last year was 43 active homes and 29 under the contract and 30 sold, which all brings us to what numbers for the inventory rate?
The inventory rate is a down and dirty number when we look at the active and pending, dividing it by the sold homes, which then gives us a down and dirty number of how much supply is really in the market. So when we look at 103 divided by 23, you get the inventory rate, which of 4.48 months.
And a month before that, inventory was actually 3.95 months, and a year at this time was 2.4 months, which gives us a crazy number of 86.66 increase in inventory from last year.
I'm also going to say there's new construction in this area that's happening 100%, and that's affecting that data.
Exactly.
Okay, so now with days on the market, again, new construction starts when it's dirt many times and will go all the way until it's, actually sold, and that can take a year. But average days on the market right now is going to be 48.
Exactly, and this is that gives you the how much fast is the market. And the months before, in months of July, we had 28 days, and last year at this time we had just 19 days, and which is really interesting data. But however, not only that, the home buyers and home sellers need to look at the list price and how much those houses sold for. No?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in August 2023, which just happened because this is the month of September, was $291,740 for the list price and $268 for the sales price. What about the month before that?
The month of July was $292,240 for the list price. However, it sold for $265.
But if we look at last year's data, it was $259 for the list price and then $257,500 for the sales price, which means when we look at what's the year-over-year changes?
The year-over-year changes for the list price was 12.64 increase. However, for the sold price was much more lower, which was 4.1%.
Okay, now let's talk about, this was a really interesting, this month, previously owned and new construction of single-family homes and anything else that you have in the area was all kind of the same, which was really fascinating to me because it's the only area that can say where the pre-owned homes and the new construction homes were all kind of priced similarly. So what is the price per square foot?
That was $153 per square
And that
feet.
typically doesn't happen in a month, like I said. That's why I found it fascinating. So with that, new construction, if we look at the actual supply of new construction in Washington, it is actually increasing by a lot because it is 1.2% of all your options. What it is previously
and
owned.
the month of July.
And the previously owned was 0.6.
Okay.
Now tell me about the month of July.
Months before in July, actually new construction was 0.1 months, which we had a huge jump. And pre-owned, of course, we had less than that, was 1.4. Respect to this month was 0.6.
Right, so you can see new construction is coming in there hot in the city of Washington. Now, when we look at the mean home value, what does mean and why is it important?
Means it's weighted average of the all homes.
And why is that important?
It's important because you wanted to understand that although there is a low home, like a home with 80,000, there are houses of maybe $1 million. No? This way, you get the sense of how much was a weighted average. Of
Okay, so when we talk about that, now I look at August 2023, the mean home value in the city of Washington, North Carolina, was $219,986. What about last month?
A month before was 218,167.
And what about last year?
And last year was 206,492. How much was appreciation?
7.4% from last year, which tells you that appreciation is still definitely a factor that's happening here. Now, when we look at the rental market in Washington, the median rent for everything in Washington is $1,100. What is that change?
And year-over-year change actually was 800 from last year to this year. Therefore, we had 300 increase in the year-over-year change.
Okay, now let's talk about if you're a home buyer or home seller, but we're going to start with the home buyers in the city of Washington because we're happy to talk to you and happy to help you because you can see is growing choices. There's more options out there. There's a lot of new construction happening in the area. You also have home values increasing. So prices are increasing for everything, including homes. Appreciation is still a thing in homes. So that means that there's still a promise that your home will be worth more after you're in it. So what would you say to somebody about those interest rates?
And also, although the time was 49 days, but this part of it is because of brand new homes, and you need to take an action and lock your interest rate if you're paying that much of rent of $1,100.
But what if I'm afraid of that 7%?
Oh, what we can do?
What should you do?
Well, right now in the state of North Carolina, we have lots of home buying grant that we had a video about it that you can look that is going to help with your down payment and also your closing
Right,
costs.
so if you're worried about getting into a home, now is actually a great time to talk to lenders. There are choices for people who have never gotten into a home. And honestly, if once you fix a rate, your mortgage is never going to go increase. It's never going to change unless you make it change. You can refinance it lower. I mean, you
Exactly.
could take money out and make it higher, but that's on you. You're taking money. So I would say on the other side of it, prepare for that. So anticipate what is happening in the market, understand that houses are appreciating, and you can benefit from that too by getting in on the ground floor and owning a home, and don't let those interest rates scare you.
Exactly. At the same time, for the sellers, as we said, the house that sold in the market sold for respect to last year, more than 4.1%. And also we had appreciation of 7.4% from the last year, which means that is going to be good for the sellers in the market.
Right,
no?
and sales prices are still increasing. We are seeing that, so it's a good time to sell your home and take the money if that is what you want to do. What about what do you have to do in order to make sure that you're getting that money,
Well,
though?
first of all, we give you the down and dirty number. At least for this month's price per square feet was $153.
But how do I actually make sure my house is worth that or
And
more?
then we need to make sure that your house is a stage.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some things that you can do, like a pre-inspection, or make sure that you know everything about your home. And if anything that is a problem or any upgrade that doesn't need a lot of money, you take care of it, before
Right.
putting it in the market.
Absolutely. And if you're thinking you're going to rent out the property, now you know what the down and dirty number is there. So you're probably going to make more on the upside of selling it, but that is, of course, your choice. And I would recommend understanding what is going on in the market, what's going to take care of it, because the best person to take care of your home is always you. Make sure you're pricing it competitively, you are talking to me, and you are making sure that your house is in good working order.
And also know about the price per square feet of the brand new construction, and don't basically overprice your home based off that, because although that your house may be in a mature landscape in a developed area, but brand new home sometimes could be also a good choice.
He loves brand new. With that, we love talking to you. Do not be shy. Please call us at 252 or text 252-327-3357.
And don't forget to support our channel on podcast by subscribing in it. And thank you for being a good audience. And don't forget to leave us a comment. Thank you.